And what we're going to be reacting to now, go ahead and remove that. So the Fiverr CEO, and for those of y'all that don't know, Fiverr is essentially a freelancing platform that you can use to get clients from and make money. I think everyone already knows what Fiverr is. Apparently, he's worried about the rise in AI and the threat it's going to pose to potential people on his site. So let's hear what he has to say. Yeah, it should be popping up.
Intelligence and concerns that it could make many people's jobs obsolete. Well, the CEO of Fiverr, that's a platform that connects freelancers and companies looking to hire them, sent this email to his employees last month. And as you see there, it says in part, quote, AI is coming for your jobs. Heck, it's coming for my job too. This is a wake-up call. Michal Kaufman is the CEO and joins us now to talk about.
Okay, before we even get into it, I have a very, I don't want to say controversial take on AI, but I have this mentality that if you can't beat them, join them. So essentially, you need to find ways of using AI in your own workflow to essentially speed up your results for your clients so that you can stay on par with AI doing it entirely. But let me just fall back. Let's continue listening.
The future of AI and the workplace, you know, as much traction as this email has received, you've really stirred up the comment section. It's been a popular refrain in the past few years. So give our viewers a bit of a pulse check. How alarmed should people be that AI is already here?
Well, it's absolutely here. And you know, I think the email came at the backdrop of our employees that are wondering if they have a future in their professions. And they weren't really waiting for my email. And if anything, this email...
Fair use. Okay, Fiverr CEO emailed his staff. So he actually emailed his staff about his concerns. Now, I didn't know about that. I only heard that he had concerns in general. It does not matter if you are a programmer, designer, product manager, data scientist, lawyer, customer support rep, salesman, or a finance person. AI is coming for you. Okay. Well, in general, it seems like he's mostly worried about the tech industry. I mean, not to discredit what he just said, but I think that's the industry that's probably the most in danger from what he's talking about. Let's go ahead and keep going.
Was a validation of the things that they feel. And it was all about, you know, talking openly and directly to our team like grown-ups. They're not kids. They don't need to sugarcoat anything. And they really needed the validation that their fears are valid, but also a leadership perspective of what they can do about it.
And let's talk more about that. How can someone who believes their job will be made obsolete by AI, how can they differentiate themselves to make themselves useful, I guess, to be able to work with these AI systems?
Yeah.
I just said that. Look, you can either be crushed by it or you can use it. And he just said what I just said. You need to find ways to use AI to enhance things for your clients. And if you're not going to do that, you're going to get left behind. I mean, I just got on the bandwagon AI-wise. I literally have just reworked my whole workflow to utilize ChatGPT to not only speed tests up for myself, but also help clients out with certain things. Can't beat them, join them.
So, look, I think that the way I'm looking at this from an executive standpoint is, I think we were given with superpowers, but this should reflect in how people work. So my expectations are double or triple the output per unit of time, and the same for the quality per unit of delivery. And the reality is that since you know, what we're seeing with these tools, the reality of businesses and products is that no one has a crystal ball. So if no one has the advantage of knowing where this is going, our main advantage is speed. It's our ability to move faster. So what I told the team is, I want to reduce the cost of error. You know, if something used to take us 3 months to build and then fail, because a lot of the things that we do try end up failing, today we can test things in 3 days. So by reducing the cost of error, we can do much more to find out the things that are working, and the team should support this. And my overarching message was, in an ideal situation, I want everyone to automate 100% of what they're doing. And that might raise the question, will that make them replaceable? And my answer is absolutely not, because it's on the contrary. When you have all of your time free because you're not doing the technical things that you can automate, you free up your time to do things that human beings have special capabilities in, which is like nonlinear thinking, judgment calls, issues that have to do with taste, making decisions, thinking about strategy. And I think that there's one thing that people get wrong about AI, and that is that it doesn't really replace us. It actually forces us to rediscover our humanity, the things that we are special in, the special attributes of every person, their special powers, and automate the things that are just wasting some of our times as, acting as technicians.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do want to say that this source of this video is going to be from CBS Morning News, obviously, but it is going to be linked in the description. Definitely check it out. I'm sure that channel can support, even though it's a news channel. I'm pretty sure they're doing fine. But let's talk about what he has to say. So he's talking about how AI can be used to automate, but he's saying that it won't necessarily replace human involvement. And you know what? Let's kind of narrow that to the freelancing field for a second. I'll talk about myself. So as y'all know, I'm a video editor and I do some edit. I specialize in podcast editing. And a lot of my clients want clips made from their podcasts. So these are clips that are from 3 minutes to 15-minute segments. We're not even talking about the vertical format where they're being posted on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I'm talking about these 3 to 15-minute segments, because oftentimes these segments can make a lot of money on their own as standalone content when uploaded to YouTube and Rumble, etc. And technically, there's a software called Opus Clip that can identify clips that would be good clips and separate those sections from the podcast. And you could just take that and upload to YouTube and get some decent results. So that's a good example of AI replacing like what humans are doing. But I want y'all to think about what I just said. It's replacing something that's very, 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 very basic to do. So if that's all you were doing for your clients, then you kind of deserve to be replaced. You're literally at the bottom of the barrel in terms of getting your clients the best that you can do. But what offsets that for me is a client can do that, but what if they don't want to have to deal with all that technical nonsense? They just want someone else to take the responsibility of that and make sure the clips get made and it's going to get them views. So you take those clips, and it still needs to have an intro and an outro put on it. It needs to have graphics added. It needs to have the like and the subscribe graphics added. It needs to have the call to actions to other things. If the podcast has sponsors that they have recorded commercials for, those commercials need to be inserted in those clips so that client can put that as part of the sponsorship package when they upsell these potential sponsors for their podcast. These are a bunch of things that AI is not doing right now. So if you're doing those things, your job is quote unquote safe, but that's because you're going above and beyond. If you're doing the bare minimum, AI is replacing you. So that's why what he says about AI, he is concerned about it. What he said towards the end is very true too. When you think of it as if it can just automate some things, like if Opus Clip can find the clips for you, in that case, it can find the clips for me, then yeah, it's taking a step out of it for me. And let's say the audio is janky for said podcast and it needs to be sound mixed. Well, there's a AI tool called Voice AI that will do the reverb and remove all the background noise and all of that stuff for a small fee. But if you're landing these clients to pay you $1,500 to $2,000 per month, like I am, like paying $25 a month for a subscription to access that AI is nothing. And I'm not even saying you have to do that. If you know how to play around with Adobe Premiere Pro, you could use that too. But the point is, you use AI to do all that technical grunt work that is just going to take a bunch of time that's tedious. It saves you the time that you can deliver it to the client faster, then potentially get another client, or maybe do something else for that client which increases your bottom line at the end of the month. So I'm sharing this because AI isn't something to be feared as long as you're approaching it the right way and you're growing with your industry. I use the video editing podcast space as an example, but this really applies to every single space. What can you go above and beyond in? And once you determine what that is, just do it. Don't be basic level, and you won't have too much to fear from AI. In fact, you'll have things to gain from AI because it'll do the basic stuff for you. Let me know in the chat, how do y'all feel about AI, threatening the work of freelancers or people who are a one-person business.
Sup everyone, hopefully you're enjoying the material that you're watching right now at this moment. Most people in today's world want to make money on their own terms. They also want the standard American dream that we've all been sold. For the most part, that entails getting a house, setting yourself up for retirement, and having a decent investment portfolio. That's cool and all, but have you ever asked the question, why exactly is there support to have all that stuff as an employee, but not as someone who's a freelancer, a business owner, or someone who's self-employed? I've asked that same question too. That's why I've decided to start the Self-Made Business Academy. Unfortunately, when you decide to go into business for yourself, there's not as many resources that I would like to see helping you facilitate that transition. We often have so many questions such as, how are we going to get our leads for business? How does marketing work? And what are the tactics and strategies that will work best for my personality type? And finally, while most people would desire to get a house, the process for qualifying for a mortgage for a house or even a higher tier apartment in the middle of downtown is different for someone who is self-employed versus someone who works a job. If you want support through all these endeavors and more, I would encourage you to join the Self-Made Business Academy. By joining the Self-Made Business Academy Pro Group, you'll get access to all current existing courses as well as future ones, access to our PDF library and frameworks, workshop replays, and all playbooks. In addition to this, you'll be able to join our weekly office hours where you'll get to talk to me about some of the issues you may be facing as a self-employed person once per week. You'll also get access to live webinar training events and invites to in-person meetups if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and early access to new products. So if you've left the 9-to-5 or you aspire to leave the 9-to-5 one day and you want to know not only how to survive in this world of being self-employed, but also thrive in the process, join the Self-Made Business Academy today. Click the link in the description to get started.